We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Akira.
Hello. Good morning. What's going on, guys? Took a couple days off. I did plan on getting on yesterday, but I figured it was already late at night by the time I was kind of like deciding it. And nothing really happened in the market, so we're on early today. Early morning. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I got a couple updates for you guys. So, first off, am I really that bright on camera? Jeebus. Okay. I'm trying to let the window sunlight hit me in the face, wake me up a little bit. I woke up like 50 minutes ago. Not true. I woke up at like 7:30, sat in bed for 30 minutes, and then I got up. Typically how it goes. All right, so first things first. I'm going to be experimenting with a 3% stop loss, 3% risk. All right. I know I've talked about it in the past, and some people have suggested it. To me at the time, I was still experimenting with the 1%, so I didn't want to like just deviate from that. But I've been using the 1% for so long, and it seems to be getting in some trouble around this area. So the main reason why I have strayed away from higher stop losses is traditionally I would go ahead. Let me go ahead and pop up in the calculator here. Traditionally, let's say we had $1,000 and we were using a 3% stop loss. This would all stay the same. So I would still be using the same margin, same risk or margin, just increasing the stop loss and keeping the portfolio risk still 1%, which I don't necessarily think is a terrible idea. But the problem with that would come down to, like, if you're still going to get stopped out a couple times and then have the market proceed in the correct direction, this is what's going to get you into trouble. If we directly correlate the stop loss to the amount that's at risk, yes, the R&R does go down, but the percentage of the account stays the same. So if we had a 1% stop loss using 1% risk, and it was a 36 R&R, and then we went to a a 3% stop loss with a 3% risk, and we hit a 13 R&R, it's still 36% added to the count because it's 3% times 12. I would say 12 R&R. Still waking up, 12 R&R. So multiply that, 36. I'm gonna try that out for a little bit, see how it goes. I try to do some back testing, and it does seem like a couple times it would have saved our asses, but we're in a different phase here. So as well as that, anybody that has lifetime access to the Discord, like way back when I offered that package, please message me if you want to keep that, because I will be adding a Patreon bot to the Discord to auto manage everything. All right, so there might be a couple days of kind of like hectic stuff going on, but I'm going to try and make sure it's as seamless as possible. I'm going to give it a couple days for people to reach out and message me. Anybody that needs to have that done, I'll make a specific role for you that the Patreon bot can't touch or auto manage. That way there's no problems with that. And I haven't looked into too much of the functionality. I'm sure there's like a whitelist function, but we'll get to that when it all happens. But let's go ahead and start talking about price action real quick. Get that out of the way. Bitcoin. We talked about this pretty in depth the past couple of weeks. 16,300 being the major level that we want to stay above. All right. If we do get below that and we stay below it, that's when I'm going to start to get bearish on the market. At this moment in time, like we're on the cusp. All right. Technically, I'm still bullish right now because of how we're holding up against it. All right. We're kind of getting like this flat, rounded bottom showing support, but it could easily turn into a downfall. All right. If we break 16,300 and get below it quite decently or come back up and retest it as resistance, that's when I'm possibly looking towards 10K as the next target. Obviously, everybody that's been calling 14K, 13K in the meantime, of course, that is within the range. So I do agree with those targets at that point, but I can't call that as the next bottom. All right. I have to work in terms of sequential supports, and 10K would be the next one. I'll go ahead and pop up the chat out of the YouTube live here. But as well as that, so like my honest opinion the past couple of days is if it wasn't for the FTX fiasco, I think this actually would have been the bottom. Now, I still think it has the potential to be the bottom. All right, Ethereum definitely has not put in a new lower low. We have a nice ABC long setup here. BTC has the ABC setup here. All right, if we get back above 17,600. Now, I have taken a entry on BTC, but it's not something I would recommend. All right, I kind of coincided it with this little thing here. Oh, I need to turn that up. This little thing here. And as well as that, we had this little ABC here. So we had that kind of double layered ABC action here. And we were kind of putting in an ascending wedge around that region. Well, ascending triangle. Ascending wedges are bearish, but obviously we failed. I'm pretty close to being stopped out, but using that 3%er now. Now, the one thing that I do have to look forward to if we do see upside price action, I linked this in the Discord as well. But if we do happen to put in a higher high off of this structure here, because when we first had this little tiny downtrend here, let me zoom in a little bit further. That's how tiny it was. When we first had this little downtrend here, people were getting excited about taking profits on their shorts. That, to me, I probably wouldn't have taken profit. All right. Just because I needed a larger structure. And someone actually asked me, like, what am I looking for? And I pretty much drew this exactly even before all this price action was not here. So with us cutting down this deep, especially all the way over to this side here, that definitely looks like a more well-structured B wave. As soon as we put in a higher high off of this level here, I will be taking profit on my short. And of course, right now, I still have a long position open on Ethereum as well. Not that much in profit, but it was supposed to be off of this level here, 1179, 1180. But I just retook this entry because unfortunately I did wake up a little bit later on that day. So right here, this previous ABC, that is the level that I'm currently working off of at the moment. But I already have my stop loss on my short set up at a little bit above this high. Because the whole thing is, I took the short from this top here. All right. And if the downtrend is going to continue, of course, during the downtrend, we're going to have retests at some point. So I took that short and I have a long hedge from about here. Okay. So between these two levels, I'm not making money or losing money. I'm basically securing the profit from my original short if we never saw a hedge position come in for a short. But now that we have the two parts of the three, as soon as we put in that higher high, I can go ahead and take profit on this short. And if we come back below this level, I'll be hopping in the new short, basically just tightening up the range. That way, if we do proceed past the top here, I'm now making new money between this region here. All right, that's what I'm going for. Same thing for Bitcoin as well. If Bitcoin puts in a higher high at 18,109, we're taking profit on that short as well. I'm actually going to go set that up right now, just in case. Stop loss, 18,809. Oh, actually, no, I had that wrong. 109, my bad. Move that down a little bit. There we go. I knew that didn't look right. Also, I had this clip pulled up. Let me turn on my sound here. Turn that off for a second. But this is the people that are running a multi-billion-dollar trading firm.
My math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of like elementary school math. Being comfortable with risk is very important.
So we've all seen that first part, but
we tend not to have things like stop losses. I think those aren't necessarily a great risk management tool. Trying to think.
Yeah, look what that got him. Now, so we have to understand like what context she's talking about. I'm assuming like they were playing like actual traders. Now, if they were spot trading and their whole trading firm was taking like a DCA approach to the market, okay, at that point I can see how someone doesn't use stop losses, but you have to make the differential. I saw someone bring up that video in someone else's chat as like proof that you don't need stop losses. I think that's the exact opposite of proof that you need stop losses. They crashed and burned. Now, I know it wasn't just because of no stop losses. They had so much other stuff going on, but those are the type of people that don't use stop losses. Like I said, if you're DCAing, your whole point is like you're looking at this from a macro perspective. You're not looking at it to make short-term profit. So of course, you might not use stop losses. But for leverage traders, use stop losses. Hi, Kite. Do you think Bybit is a safe exchange to trade? I do. I've been using them for 4 years, and I've never had a problem with them. Their withdrawals have only been getting better. So, I mean, so it used to be in the past that Bybit only allowed withdrawals 3 times a day, and that coincided with the funding rate. Now it's 24/7. So, but I've been saying this well before the FTX debacle. All right. I don't care what exchange you're playing on, whether it's Coinbase, Kraken, Bybit, FTX. all these websites always use due diligence. The number one thing that we've always talked about is leverage is basically portfolio exposure. That's the best thing it's used for. All right, you can have 10 to 15% of your portfolio on Bybit and use it as if you had all of it on there. That is what leverage allows you to do. So for the love of God, all right, even though because I say I trust Bybit, that does not mean I keep my entire portfolio on a leverage exchange. That is a dumb idea. And my sympathy goes out to people that lost a lot with FTX, but there's a level of self due diligence that goes along with these things. I don't think it's their fault, but I do think they could have prevented their own headache. Plain and simple. Do the same. All right. If you weren't thinking this way before, you definitely need to be thinking this way now. All right. There's no telling what the future holds. This is going to cast a lot of doubt on every single exchange. FTX just is temporarily ruining it for everybody else. So this could cause backfires. I'm not, sitting here with rose-tinted glasses on. Be careful. All right. I do trust Bybit. I've been using it for a very long time, but that does not mean that I trust them 100%. Don't ever trust anybody else with your money 100%. Makes no sense. Kite, why are you ignoring the crow debacle? I'm not. I'm just slow today, man. I'm sorry. The crow hasn't been on my list ever. So, to be honest with you. Whoa. So we marked out some of these supports the other day. Looks like it got a temporary bounce off of this support here. Came back up to retest. And we're probably falling down to 5.2 cents on crow. At least that's what it looks like short term. But, I mean, crow's never been on my list to begin with, man. I have no clue what happened to crow. I see downside price action. Want to fill us in, Bufo? No, man, I don't start my day off with Twitter. I'm sorry. You can check a setup out on near. Worth trying. So alongside me increasing my stop losses to 3%, I'm not gonna be taking any trades on any low cap altcoins, even like some of the ones that I typically would. Probably gonna be sticking to just Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Maybe every once in a while I might take a trade, but with increasing the stop loss, increasing that risk, you have to make sure you're doing it correctly. Here, I clicked on the wrong one. Personally, there's nothing really happening at the moment. I understand, like on the 1 hour here, you do have this set up here. I would be careful right now in the market, especially on these altcoins. Now, the one good thing you got going for it, if we went down lower, you would have 1.5 acting as a macro support for a decent bounce, even if it would continue. I just can't really agree with hopping in that right now. I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are showing signs of support, but there's nothing like really like awesome on these lower time frames right now for Bitcoin and Ethereum. What do you see ETH bottoming on the higher time frames? Well, right now, hopefully, at least short term, like I said, I would really like a retest of this $18,100 level and this $1,346 level on Ethereum. All right, that would put in bearish ABC. Like if we're going to continue this trend, by all means, go at it. All right. As long as the market is moving in a consistent direction, I'm all for it. All right. But if we can get that retest, hop out of the original short, hop into a new one if it is going to continue the downside. I don't really care where it bottoms out. Now, I mean, on the macro time frame here, as long as we are above 1188, it's looking decent. All right. Right now, we're above this major ABC setup on Ethereum, and we're above 16,300. Obviously, we would want to get back above 17,600 in order to complete this ABC for BTC, but it's looking all right now for a hold. Short term. We just have to see, like, we have to be patient, see how much this FTX thing really messed up the market. Because, like I said, I mean, on BTC, like, we were seeing an Adam and Eve formation, and we were getting that curve. We were really starting to, like, move to the upside here and really put in that rounded bottom. Of course, like, I did expect downside off of this smaller time frame ABC here, just as a retest, but then FTX hit, and that retest turned into a mess up of the entire structure. Hey, Kite, what do you recommend for someone who cannot indulge in leverage trades? I mean, is so dumb for trading, and you would want to put a percentage of paycheck into something reliable. If you are in a position where you're trading for like the first time, or you have a small amount to put in, try to go with the smallest amount possible just to test out what you like. All right. So for me, obviously ABCs are what I love in the market. I think they're very consistent. Now, there's nuance to ABCs as well. How large is your stop loss? What's your risk percentage? How do you kind of work yourself through the trade? Where do you take profit? Do you kind of hold on to the trades and wait for the next setup in order to hop out and join the new one? Do you take profit at the 0.441 of the ABC structure itself? There is different ways to play it. So I do think you need to find out personally like what works for you, what accompanies your account with peace of mind, most importantly, because if you can't do this for a long period of time without getting angry, without getting sad, that's going to be the biggest problem. Next, well, like what do you think is giving you the most profit over a long period of time? Because it's the happy balance of both. If you're not making any profit at all, of course that's bad. If you're making profit but you're suffering, like let's say you're making a lot of profit but you're suffering mentally, of course that's going to catch up to you and cause you to make dumb mistakes. So it's the happy balance. So just take a very, very small amount of money and try it out. Try out different styles of ABC trading or any trading at all and see what works best. Once you kind of like finalized and you can, show a track record of like, of course I'm using $100, but I know it's not a lot of money, but I'm consistently winning, or at least not consistently winning, but you're winning and you're outshining your losses consistently. That's what I mean by that. Then you can start kind of throwing a percentage of your paycheck at it slowly over time. Now, alongside me adding the Patreon bot to the Discord, like I said at the beginning of the live stream, if you guys have been in the group for a very long period of time, way, way back when I had the offer of a lifetime membership, please message me. All right. Next couple of days, I'm going to be looking at how to implement this bot to help me keep track of who's in the Patreon, all that kind of stuff. So I need to be able to whitelist you guys. As well as that on the Discord, on the Patreon, I am offering one-on-one sessions again. All right. I don't know how long they're going to be open, but instead of going with a large package deal of you get a couple of sessions, you guys can do it on an individual basis. So, of course, as always, I have hundreds of live streams that talk about pretty much everything I could ever talk about. But if you do need me to like personally sit down with you, there is that option now. Like I said, depending on how crazy it gets, I don't know how long they're going to last. I might have to limit how many people can be joined at one time, but that is there. like I said, I really hate the idea of courses. I personally I don't think there's any use to them. But I figured, hey, I offer a decent price, and it's a personal thing. KuCoin mailing addresses in Madagascar can tell you enough. I saw an email from KuCoin, um, basically like almost as if like they're trying to, you know, uh, quarry any worries about anything related to FTX. Oh my God. Crow actually sent 80% of their cold storage. That is it like isn't there like checks and balances? Oh my bad. I forgot to turn it back on after we looked at the little clip of this person who ran a multi-million-dollar firm, a billion-dollar firm, saying they don't use stop losses on trades. Check out the SPY today. SPY is actually doing very well. Damn. If it wasn't for FTX, I think we would have been in the same boat as the SPY right now. Now, once again, possibly a moment of weakness as well. If we get back down below 390, probably going to be a hefty retest along this 362 somewhere. What about the US 100? Is that going up as well? Oh, thank God. Man, it has been so long just sitting along this line for the US 100. But same thing, it does have an ABC setup on the smaller time frames relative to why? There we go. But FTX had to go screw it all up for everybody. Like, this is the one time where, like, I would say, because not only is this having a negative market impact, but there possibly is going to be, like, regulation impacts to this. Like, this just kind of screws it up for everybody. So, we'll see what the future has in store for us, but I'm going to keep on trucking in the meantime. Yeah, I honestly don't know how, like, all these articles and videos coming out, it makes it like seem like it was just like negligence that caused all this from FTX, but like, how do you do that? Like, how do you screw up that bad? Like, your one job is to be an exchange. That's it. You're not a bank. You're not a bank. You don't loan your money to other people from people, because in the TOS, like, that's criminal. Like in the TOS, it says your money is your money. Like we don't send it anywhere. Like that is so. The dude's going to prison. Like there's no way around it. This Crow thing is blowing up and appears someone is stealing funds from exchanges. Crow is listed as next, apparently. Damn. Well, if it has a negative impact on the market, we already got a short end. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, all like the Wall Street Journal, like everything they're putting out, it's like almost if like, oh, it was a mistake, oopsies. But like, you were frauding people and you got caught. Plain and simple. Kite, please build an exchange. It's always profitable. Like, that's the thing as well. Like, I don't understand, like, criminal activity. I get it's good short-term profit, but it's always going to blow up in your face at some point. If you put in good, honest work, that builds trust. Trust builds recurring partnerships or recurring buys, recurring sells. And people trust you and they use you forever. Like, that's why I whenever I do something on my channel, I make sure that I put heart and soul into it and it's not a cheap money grab. That's it. So like with an exchange, they make money off of fees. Like, they are going to be profitable as long as they continue to maintain trust. Of course, they're always going to have a rivalry with another exchange. Okay, start adding features that help your customers stay safe, secure, and also entice them. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. I think the problem came with like diverged interest. Like, they have this Alameda trading firm, and trust me, like, this is all news to me. Like, I don't really care about these people in terms of what they got going on. All right, never used FTX. I maybe hopped on it once and made an account because people are, back in the day, people were saying like, hey, why don't you trade on FTX? It's a US regulated exchange. I go with what I've been using and what I trust. Plain simple. Now, like I said, I mean, this could have been Bybit. But if it was Bybit, it probably wouldn't have been in the news. You know, maybe a little blip on the radar, but it wouldn't have been as big as FTX. But that's why we practice portfolio exposure. Don't ever have 100% of your trading portfolio on Bybit or any other website at one time. All right. That's why leverage is what makes it possible. If you have a problem where you keep running out of money on the exchange and you have to keep transferring over, just change this to 2%. All right. It's not going to hurt you. All right. Right now I'm using 4%. So if I'm taking 4 trades at a time, at most I need 20% of my trading portfolio on Bybit. And trust me, like if Bybit went down, I lost 20% of my money. That would suck. That would suck bad. But it wouldn't suck as much as putting all of your money on a website and then losing it. And like, I did have like a little daydream, like how hard is it to create an exchange? Of course, if you're in the US, you have to get like tons of regulation, which apparently is easy to do. Like what did Binance look like when they first started? Like Was it just a couple people buying back and forth with each other? How does that work? Like the early, like we see exchanges now and there's like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people like putting in limit orders and the market's flowing. But like, what if it's only like 10 people buying back and forth from each other? What does that look like? I see. DXY dumped hard. Oh, thank God, dude. All right. At least my AMD is doing good. Got a nice ABC setup. Coming over that support. Hopefully it can hold up. So this was my last buy-in point for AMD. I took this long right here. Well, not a long, a buy. So if we can get back above that, I'm back in totality green. Now, if we want to see, you know, the flowers in a dump, so to speak, if a lot of these coins are lost, of course that does add a little bit of value to the rest of the coins that are on the open market. Obviously, it's going to take time to represent that, but that is one good thing that comes out of this. Like I said, I in no way, shape, or form am I happy about people losing money, but it's kind of like the Satoshi wallet. As long as that money stays buried, because, you know, where are they going to sell it at? SHIB is in a good macro ABC long level. I guess it's definitely a tough one. Like I said, I'm not playing coins like this anymore, but I see what you got going here. Kind of this level altogether. I know. With coins like this, especially, oh, those ones are gonna slip. Like if any more bad news comes out, those are gonna slip. Like BTC is barely hanging on a thread right now. It is on its last leg. All right, if we break 16,300, That's what we got to look forward to. 10K. That's what I was saying, man. If it was not for all the FTX stuff, like I said, I do think that right here we would have had a regular retest of possibly somewhere around this level here, but then we would have bounced. I really think that we would have continued, because this was kind of like doing its little arch formation here. So like that's the one thing, like I do think that this possibly gave us a lower entry, if this, because this could still be bottom. All right, with 16,300 still holding, we still have the APC position here. And just because it doesn't end up as an Adam and Eve doesn't mean that it can't be a good thing. But as always, like I'm not letting that get in the way of my trades here. As long as we're above 16,300, I'm still bullish. But like I said, still holding on to my shorts, not letting those go. If we get back up here, I'll let the shorts go, but that's because we have a new short setup, and I'll be able to hop into that if we are going to continue to the downside. Right here. That's 18,151. Yep. Do you think BTCs can still go above all-time high next bull run from these levels, or even 10K? Yes. All right, it's gonna be a long time until then. Like I said, the next halving is not until like 2024, and usually we don't see like the bull run until roughly around the next year. So 2025 is where I would be looking for the next bull run. And the market itself has been kind of flattening out. Like instead of like this parabolic, like straight up diagonal, it's kind of taken on like a curving formation like that. So we're probably gonna be seeing deeper cuts from the top of bull markets, but obviously that gives us the chance to like continue to do that. So the lower that we go down, the more percentage we have to the upside for the next bull market. Now I would say like crypto's still kind of in the limelight from the bull market. We haven't seen the period where kind of like crypto cools down and it's just the OGs left, or like new people that like really fell in love with crypto, like the idea, kind of like from 2018, 2019, where it's genuine traders. Right now, there's still people that have been stuck in the market, that bought up at the top, that just got into crypto for the hype. So, like, obviously, there's still going to be a lot of huge sell-offs because of that. Kind of crazy how the NASDAQ crash video actually came true. I'm actually sad about that, dude. Like I out of all the times that like I miss, I wish that was one of them. Now, like, are we close to like the bottom that I said? because it wasn't like the NASDAQ like the US 100. I was actually talking about the NASDAQ company here. What was the prediction? NASDAQ conspiracy theory. All right, so I was looking at 203. Am I on the right chart? I'm confused. Where's this chart at? Because right here we were at like 146. Yeah, NASDAQ Inc. Got all turned on. Okay, I don't know what happened to that chart. Maybe I just can't find it right now. Okay. Keep your secrets, I guess. Just tuned in. Are we short or long? Both. ETH definitely has the better long at the moment, but I did try to take a chance on BTC's smaller time frame long, just because of the formation we were having. But unfortunately, it did fall through. We had our big A wave here. We were forming a B wave right here. So once I started to see like this little ascending triangle here, I did take a long entry, hoping to see a retest of this level. Kite, can you take a look at the Apple chart in 2000 against the current? It's scary simple. I mean, it was just an ABC. We had downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. That was the 2008 crash for Apple. And then you just buy back in right here. So we already had that marked out up here. You know, this could be another buy-in point for Apple. Uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. Or downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. And the buy-in point would be here. Apple had a couple good ABCs in the past. We had this one here. We had this one here. We had this one here. There's when Apple first started, there was a bunch of points where you could have jumped in. I mean, definitely by this point over here. Like, this is 2002. Like, I know Apple hadn't come out with, like, the iPhone 4 yet, but that was a good ABC to jump in on. And right here, I mean, this is when around when they released the iPhone 4. Like, that was the jump in point, most definitely. Only real difference is Apple's double top has a lower high. Zoom into it a little more on the weekly chart. I mean, I'm on the 4-day here. Yeah, we had a lower high here, and we have a lower high here. Can you look at Apple's chart against the current? It's Garrison on BTC chart. 2008 Apple against BTC's current structures or somewhere. Are you getting at this larger here? Like I said, I can't really, just because the way my brain works with ABCs now. This is an ABC. I would say if we got back about 29K, I don't think that would be a bad thing, but I don't think it has the same like structural significance as a traditional ABC. Obviously, right now we have kind of like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of going on here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, I would combine these together, and this would be my C wave all the way down here, my A and C. But in terms of like structures go, like these are the levels that, as we come back up, are probably going to be of significance to the market. Made $70 overnight with Media Network. Starting from scratch, what platform is the best for day trading? Bybit. I've been using Bybit for 4 years. I've never had a problem with them. Even when like Coinbase and stuff has gone down from like really crazy price action, Bybit has remained up. As always, like I said, especially including this FTX whole thing going on, I've always said, make sure that you're using leverage correctly, aka portfolio exposure. You do not need to have 100% of your portfolio on Bybit in order to trade. You can have 15, 20%, still make great trades, all right? Because that's the whole purpose of leverage. All right, it's not to gamble, not to have 100x your entire portfolio. It's to make sure that you can have a small amount of margin exposed and keeping the rest safe. Guys, taking the best BTC shorts at April 21st of this year. April 21st. Yep, like I said, that is my best trade. Definitely wasn't the most profitable. Like, I didn't make the most out of it. But in terms of like my mental fortitude throughout it, that one I will always remember. At November 21st. Yes, we did catch that short, but I took profit on it so quickly. I took profit on it like right here. So I wouldn't say that's one of my better trades. Like I said, I mean, I'm just as human as everybody else. I'm trying to learn the best way. And that is one of the consistent mistakes that I think I've been doing wrong, is not holding on to the winners. Because if we give it enough time, there's always going to be a chance to jump out appropriately. That's what we're allowing. Hopefully, if you guys haven't experienced that before, maybe this is your first time, Like if you guys took this short and you guys held it, good job. Not easy to do. All right. It's always enticing to take your profit at some point, but allowing it to do what it needs to be, done, letting the price action form the next possible position, and working with the trend, that is difficult for people. What do I think about Zcash right now? I like privacy coins. Those are obviously, XMR is my favorite. And like I said, it's not because XMR has better technology or anything like that. It's the simple fact that it's being used every single day in terms of like for actual product. Say what you want to say about the product that is being used with it, but can't deny that fact. There's always going to be a need for it. But I would say like we would really want to get back above 50.4 because like right now on these smaller time frames, there's really nothing to catch us until we're back down to like around 25 and at worst $17. Of course, we can form like momentary support in here and come back up and retest and hopefully get back above it. But in terms of like sequential support, especially right now, if we look at this smaller time frame, cut down to a 1 hour, what do you see? Uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. You even have that double layered ABC right here. That looks like a point of failure to me. Hopefully not, but at this moment in time, it does look like a point of failure. And then hopefully maybe you have downtrend, uptrend, retest this support, and then it holds and comes up for a further retest. But we'll see. $20K or a 12K this week? I have no clue, dude. Like I said, if we hold 16,300, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get back up, but it should. If we break 16,300, that's when we can start talking about 10K again. Kite Crypto, I know you probably had to do this 10,000 times, but could you show me how to sub conditionals? It seems like my trigger at trigger price and not the order price. So I use market conditionals. All right, because of how my strategy works, yes, you can get away with using limit conditionals, but sometimes it's probably going to get you hurt. All right. I just pay the market fees and let it do what it does. Because I'm not taking 1,000 trades a day. All right. I'm not trading on smaller time frames. So market fees, yes, they do suck, but they're not going to be like the brunt of my loss. All right. So, for example, all right, right now on Bitcoin, we have downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. Okay. So if we get back above 17,534, I would want to be long. Okay. So like I said, I am experimenting with using 3% stop losses and 3% risk. So that's why I'm mainly only going to be playing on Bitcoin and Ethereum from here on out. There is a couple altcoins that I might want to try to grab a trade on if things are looking good on everything. Right here, this is what my trade would look like. Now, I have no clue where my take profit is going to be. Okay. No clue. So don't even worry about that yet. So as long as we are below 17,569, I can have my conditional open. If we are above that level, I can't have a conditional open. Okay. So now we go over here to the calculator. We pop in how much your portfolio is worth. You can set this calculator up however you want. Green percent, I use 4%. I'm gonna start using 75% because 75% of 4% is 3%. You can see that down here. Portfolio at risk, 3%. Stop loss of 3%. So like this stop loss here is your real chart stop loss. This portfolio at risk is how much of your portfolio are you actually going to lose. So you could set this up to have 1% of portfolio at risk, but using a 3% stop loss, just making it even safer. But the problem is your reward isn't going to be able to compete with how many times you might get stopped out. That's the problem. All right, it's always balancing risk versus reward. Simple as that. So we now know how much leverage we're going to use. And if you're on inverse perpetual, you're going to be using 1,000 contracts. So we go over here. Let me make sure I turn off my camera this time so you guys can see it. Okay, let me zoom in. All right, so over here on the right side, this is your little order block here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit conditional. Before you do that, right here, if you have on the market tab, if you have it order by cost, it will actually glitch it out. You need to change it back to order by quantity. So then click conditional. All right, right here, instead of limit, you're going to click market. All right, and I want to enter at 17,551. Go back over here. 17,551. Now you need to fat finger this in. All right, you go over here. My margin size needs to be $40 worth. Okay, so underneath of this quantity box, you're going to see these two numbers. One is going to be green, one is going to be red. All right, obviously green is for longs, red is for shorts. All right, and you can see if I pop in 0.1, that's worth $72 if I was to long. So I know I need less than 0.1. So let's try 0.5. 0.5 is worth 36. Let's try 0.6. 0.6 is above 40. So let me go 5.5. 5.6. All right. You can see like I can't go any lower than that. I can't. I'm trying to type another number here. I can only go 3 decimals back. So I either go with 5.5 or 5.6. All right. They're both roughly $40. If you want to be a little bit over or a little bit under, that's your choice. All right. And right here, our risk from margin needs to be 75%. So then if I click on buy long with the TP/SL and then go down here to stop loss, like I said, I don't know what my take profit is going to be because that's the way that I play. All right. By all means, do what you want to do. If you want to take profit at the 0.441, be my guest. All right. But we've seen how many times we've lost out on profit by simply doing that. All right. I know it's not always enjoyable, but that's what I like to do. All right. So right here, you can see 5%, 10%, 25%, 50%, 75%. If I click 75%, that's going to put my stop loss at $17,009. All right. You can see expected loss will be $29.81. If I go to the calculator, my expected loss should be around $30. That's perfect. And then you can click open long. And then if we get back up above that A, it will enter the trade. So there you go. Which exchange do I look at on BTC? If I'm looking at like long-term time frames, like years, I go to Bitstamp. But most of the time I'm using, I believe, Coinbase or Bybit itself. Sultan, what's going on, man? I've been doing the same thing. I took a short on Sol at $15.22. It fell to $14.12 before I went to sleep. So I set my stop in the profit at $14.55. And of course, I got hit. And now Sol is worth like $13.95. Yeah. So, like I said, the only time that I will ever move my stop loss is if a new setup is about to be formed. So that way, I can get back into a short trade if the trend is going to continue, but I'm doing so by letting the market show me that the trend might continue. So right now we have 2 out of the 3 parts that we need to have a new ABC setup. So this was the original right here, and this is the new one that can be formed. If we go back and put up a higher high here, then I can get rid of this top one and then enter this one and keep it moving. What's your opinion on Coin Rule or other AI trading bots? So I think that if you can like program a bot yourself, like if you can take, say like what's that one website? I just logged into it the other day to check it out and see how much it's progressed. Shoot, I forgot the name of it. I'm just tired right now. But if you can like use a service that allows you to create your own trading bot and like program your own strategy into it, because that's the whole thing. I believe that if you're going to use a bot, it needs to be a trading strategy that you understand and that you can back test, that you know how it works. That way, if there's an error with the bot, you know what to do. Trading bots that are like pre-set up from other websites, I have no doubt that like during moments they can have their shine, but I think when things go to shit, they will fail. 3 Commas, there you go. I think 3 Commas is a good website because they're in the bot trading game, but they give you the tools to make your own bot or sign up to other people's bots, which, like I said, I don't agree you should sign up to other people's bots. You should learn how these things work, all right? Otherwise, you don't know why you're doing something, all right, or why you should do something. But 3 Commas, they offer you all the tools necessary. They make it easy for people, and then for that, they get a small commission. It's a transaction. I think people that need to, because like my dad, he messaged me and was basically like, hey, I'm getting like these text messages saying like these people are making this much money. Anybody that like needs to go out of their way to promote and say like, oh, people are making so much money, they're trying to entice people on their primal senses and get them to sign up for it. I don't know. I prefer not to. I don't want to get into that game. Like I said, I think 3 Commas is a legit website and it allows you to set up your own bot. And you can set up the parameters on how it works. That way you can automate whatever trading strategy you got going on. But unless you know how someone else's bot works, you should never use it. Could you please check on Merrick? Is that the actual Matic? So Matic had the larger ABC setup and it's currently working itself out at the moment. We have yet to hit the 0.441, so there might be a little bit more going on. It does seem that on the larger timeframes here, we possibly would see the ability like to have a hedge position here. But it still looks to be working out what it's got going on. You mean I shouldn't copy people I see on the internet? No, you shouldn't copy someone just to copy someone. You need to understand like how they're doing what they're doing, because otherwise they can mask and make it look better than it actually is. Like my trading strategy, you know how it works in and out. Like I said, there is nuances with it and people can tweak it. Like I said, there's different ways to take profit. I do think like the 0.441 method would work better on a smaller time frame. Larger time frames, you need more of a hold play style. The way I see it is we put in wave 4 last pop. Now in wave 5, within the larger C from the previous range, looking for 13. 13 seconds to long? 13K to long? S and K on the other side of the keyboard. But no, I see what you mean by that. Definitely, like I said, I mean, I see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, I would combine these now and be looking at it more like this. And if we can get back above these levels, obviously that's going to be a good thing for Bitcoin. But there's no telling what's going to happen next couple of weeks with all this fiasco. I hope it's like Luna. You know, Luna, we had the Luna crash. And obviously, we saw repercussions from that. Like, you can pretty much, like, Luna hit sometime around here. And then obviously fell, had the initial crash, had the retest, had the ABC, second crash, and then things started to kind of level out. So this might be the first crash. I think Luna might have been more severe than the FTX crash, because Luna obviously was tied to whatever stablecoin they had going on. And I'm sure there's people using the stablecoin that weren't quite invested in Luna. You know, if it was just a Luna coin, obviously people would have got burnt, but I'm pretty sure there was a lot more carnage applied to that. FTX, of course, a lot of people are using FTX. I hope the majority of people got their money out. But I feel like besides like regulation issues, I think this might be kind of a blip on the map. Crypto is doing a hard reset. Hard reset for all new highs? Question mark. Yes and no. Like, I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon. Like I said, I'm just being realistic. I think the next time that we'll see like an actual like parabolic up curve would probably be 2025. Just being realistic. If we kind of time the halvening and look at what it's done to price action, this is kind of what happens. So Bitcoin goes into a bear market. It has kind of like a cool off period where people kind of forget about it. It kind of goes into the back of people's heads. Only the people that are really interested in crypto are the ones trading it. Of course, we see retests to the upside, the downside, and it kind of moves like through 2019. But it's not until the halving hits that we start to see like a slow, steady growth. It starts to affect the market. Because even with the small amount of people that are trading it back and forth, we're seeing the repercussions. And then it kind of slowly pushes the market up, and then it starts to break previous macro highs. That's when it starts to catch the attention of institutions, people that have lots of money, and then they start throwing their money at it, and that's when we see the parabolic runs. So we go ahead and look at where next BTC happening. 2024. So March 23rd, 2024. We probably won't see anything really start to happen until, you know, like mid 2025. Like I said, I still think that there's going to be room for trades. I do think there'll be upside retests and the ability to hold on to stuff, but it's not going to be, you know, explosive. I wonder when they're gonna update this this logarithmic curve here. Because all the logarithmic curve is it's based off of old price action. So they need to include this if they are going to continue the same metric. So what you're saying is we have another year to really learn to trade effectively before money time? Yeah, like 3 years. Because even if you miss out on something like the price action before the bull market itself, if you kind of switch up what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. If equities topped out on Friday, which is likely in my opinion, that would drag BTC even worse than the FTX Catalyst one. We'll see. We'll see. But just because we got more people in here, once again, friendly reminder. All right. Over the next week or so, I'm going to be, because Patreon has their own bot now that can integrate with Discord, which I've been waiting on for so long. If you are a part of like the lifetime membership, you need to message me. Make sure that I have you in a whitelist. All right. That way, when I set up the bot, it doesn't accidentally kick you. All right. And I'll probably be putting out like an actual video about it as well. That way people that don't have time to scan through the entire live stream can see it. And also, alongside the one-on-one sessions that I'm offering now, once a week, probably starting next Saturday, I'll be hopping into the Discord for a couple hours on Saturdays in order to, make sure if anybody has any questions or just hang out. Yeah, if FTX launched their own stablecoin and this all happened, it would be Luna all over again. It'd probably be worse than Luna. Like I said, the only reason why I don't think FTX is worse than Luna is because there's no stablecoin attached to it. So I'm sure that stablecoin was also integrated into other systems outside of the Luna ecosystem. There might have been some exchanges that were using it. Yeah, let's play Wordle. See what we got today. Audio. All right, so we got an A and an I. Okay, that one was a bad one. I didn't realize I had the I in the same place. I already found out where the A is, though. We eliminated a couple letters here. It can't be tails. Bit, what's going on? Piano. We would be able to find out if the I goes here, but we've already used a P and we've already used an O, so we know it can't be piano. But let's see. That would allow us to test the N and the G, find out if the I goes there, but we've already used a T. Alright, that will give us a clue. Okay, no. Alright, so we got an N though. Alright, so we know it's A, N. So the I either has to be the first letter or the last one. So like if I... Any letters that start with an I that have an A in them. Does the word have to exist? Yes. Fanny. Elon can benefit from FTX and use FTX to purchase crypto and NFT and Twitter. Elon can buy and benefit from FTX and use FTX to purchase. I don't know if Elon would go for that. Like, I mean, FTX, like the name itself is tainted now. Like, he might be able to buy the infrastructure and like tweak it, but I don't know if he would do that. Man, I have no clue. A little bit further of a dump. I think this is the hardest Wordle we've had so far. For some, I'm sure it's an easy word, but the problem is, I don't know many words that start with I. I mean, I know that's not how you spell island. Inane? Dude, what? How did you cheat? Silly or stupid? Wardle's making fun of me. Berthish, dude. How did you? Inane? Alright, well, I guess we learned a new word today. Berthish coming in clutch. Dude, that hurt my brain. How? I trusted you. I trusted you. How could you do this? I thought that was like an honest answer. You were like, I got it. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have got that one anyways. Unacceptable. With all those shit shows we had, it feels like a gamble choosing where to trade. I use Bybit and Binance. Man, I'm sketched out. I don't think you should be sketched out with Binance because Binance has been around for a decent period of time. When did FTX start? When did FTX go public? Yeah, FTX has only been around for 3 years. I mean, Binance has only been around for 5, but they do have a longer track record. Binance has only been around since 2017. I guess that makes sense. That's the first time I remember using it. But But no, I would trust Binance. just because they've already been through a bear market. Diago, I think you're a little bit behind. But yeah, Bybit, like I said, I mean, I trust it. I've been using them for like 4 years now. But you never know what can happen. Always be careful. Don't have your entire stack on there. I like Kraken. I agree. Their UI is not great. I mean, they're new, like they've updated the iPhone app. And I'm sure the Android one as well, to make it a little bit more usable. But their like online is not as well done. I got most of my capital on Bybit though, waiting to close my current trades to literally instantly move it over. Yeah, like you don't. So that's the whole thing. All right, of course, like we've all been peddled this idea of like lower leverage is the best thing. No, all right, it doesn't matter. So like if you have $1,000 and you're using 2x leverage, the value of your trade is $2,000. Okay, you're paying fees on that 2,000, not on the leverage. The leverage does not mess anything up. So you can have your trades. It's like this trade right here. All right. This short is only using $40 worth of margin, but the value of the trade is 1,000. So I'm essentially making a trade as if I was using my entire stack, but I'm only using 4% of the portfolio to make that trade. All right, so you should only realistically have anywhere between like 10 to 20% of your portfolio on a leverage trading exchange at any point in time. All right, like I said, I trust Bybit, but at the same time, you don't put your full money into something. Because it's never been my idea of like Bybit. If it ever failed, I would not think it would be because they're insolvent and they're mismanaging funds. Because like I said, or at least I thought I would think, there is no reason for an exchange to mess things up. They make money off of fees, and Bybit doesn't have a trading firm anywhere. At least not that we don't know of, like Alameda. Because that's where like most of the problem came from, is that FTX was lending Alameda Research funds from people that have deposited on FTX in order to make their trades. That's such a dumb idea, dude. That is such a dumb idea. It's looking like the BTC trade might want to do one of these. And what wasn't like the whole thing like, oh, he drives a Toyota, and come to find out like he actually lives in like a $300 million mansion. So like It's just mismanaged funds left and right. I think that's the problem. Like, you have to remember at the end of the day, like, we're all kind of animals here. We're all subject. Doesn't give them an excuse because we're supposed to be better than animals, but at the same time, like, I'm sure, like, him just being a young dude, like, this is a problem I'm having with myself. And if you would have put me in charge of a multi-billion-dollar company, I would like to think that I would do differently. But at the same time, like, shoot, man, like, you put a young kid in control of that much money, spends it on crazy houses, just stuff he doesn't need. And, like, I'm not even at that level, and I found myself doing that. And I'm trying to roll that back. It's like, there's just no good that comes from that. Like, I mean, I bought shit that I just don't need, plain and simple. Trying to, like, you know, maintain a lifestyle that just isn't healthy. So, I would like to think that, like, see, like, in my position, I'm not in control of a whole bunch of people's funds. So I can make my mistake, and it's my mistake. When you're in control of that much people's money, you can't make a mistake. Plain and simple. Because then you go to jail. And I mean, shit. If they catch him and he doesn't get at least, like, I'm sure, like, a lot of people, like, he should get life. Unless you deprive someone, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's people that have ended themselves because of money that was lost during Luna, or maybe they lost on FTX. I do think he should be held responsible for that, but at the same time, man. Yeah, I don't know. Don't forget, he was a good vegan. Percent gains worked off your margin, so the more margin, the bigger the gains, or am I mistaken? Yes and no. Like, of course, if I had $100 on 25x leverage, I would make more if I had, you know, if I had $500 on 25x leverage. But if you're doing things properly, you shouldn't just be increasing your margin and keeping your leverage the same, because then your risk gets out of whack. Like, if I went and used 10% of my portfolio and I was using, you know, 100% risk of that, so I'm risking $100, I'm risking 10% of my portfolio. So if I have, you know, a 10 R&R, of course, I'm going to make 1,000% of my portfolio. Not 1,000%. I'm going to make 100% of my portfolio. But if I get stopped out 2-3 times, I just lost 30%. So yes, if you use more margin while keeping your leverage the same, you will make more money. But that is gambling. All right. The whole purpose of what we do with trading is we find a trading style. We try to make sure that we find out how likely is it to win. Okay. ABCs. All right. If you are properly waiting for, you know, decent setups, you have a decent win percentage. All right. It probably somewhere around like 15%. All right. But what helps us is that we are using small risk so that we can lose those 85 times. And then the 15 that we do win offset all those losses. If you're using 20% risk and you get stopped out 5 times, your portfolio is smoked. It's gone, dude. All right. So don't just use more margin. Make sure that you're doing it smart. All right. My entire description is filled with tools to help you find out what you should do. I have a simulator where you can pop in what your win percentage is versus what your average R&R and how much you're risking. And then over time, over the course of 500 trades, it can simulate what you might come out with, because it is a chance. Right? You're not going to get the same answer every time because the market isn't going to give you the same trade setups every time. But more importantly, this calculator. I pop in how much your account is currently worth. Use a good risk percentage. All right, like I said, I'm using 3%. All right, but I'm also increasing my stop loss with it. All right, that way, theoretically, my win ratio should go up. All right, I should get stopped out less, but I'm going to be making the same as if I had a 1% stop loss. MA, do you trade off of the 1 minute and 3 minute time frames? No, not really, no. Every once in a while, like I'll be in a goofy mood and we'll make a small time frame trade, but it's for shits and giggles. Most of the time when you find me taking a trade, it's pretty much off of the, like the hourly time frame. I might go down to a smaller time frame, like the 15-minute, to look at it from, just a larger perspective. But like this is the last trade that I took. All right, that is currently, looking really good. All right, we had uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. Right, I can very clearly see that on the 1 hour time frame. But like all the little blips that go up and down in the middle of this, none of that concerns me. I'm looking at the larger structures. So like as time progresses, of course, I start to watch. Like right here, this was our most recent low. We had uptrend, we had downtrend. All right, so I said, okay, we have an A and a B. So I go ahead and I go, all right, if we go back below that level, I'll take a short trade. We never got back below it. We touched it, but we didn't go below it. All right, I usually take my trade like a little bit below. Possibly I would have entered there, but I don't remember doing so. So then as we progressed up, we made kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I said, typically the A and the B makes an uptrend. The 4 will break it. The 5 will retest it. But that's not really what we got. So this was our A, this was our B, and this was our C. So that's what I'm currently short off of. And the next trade that I'm looking at taking would be, once again, it's a higher time frame. All right, if we look at the higher time frame here on Bitcoin, we have downtrend right here. We have uptrend, we have downtrend. All right, so if we get back above roughly 17,600, I'll be long. I'm long right now off of like the 1 hour, 15-minute. But I was just taking a chance on it. Yeah, I'm planning on buying property sometime in the future. Much further away. Right now, I'm just trying to make sure like I got my headspace right. Have you heard of the word? I have not heard of that word. So you'll be in a position for a long period of time, a couple hours. Try a couple days, and if everything goes well, a couple weeks. So in the past, if I had an ABC setup such as the one I just showed you for this short position, in the past I would typically take profit at the 0.441 of the structure. So I would take my fib retracements, I would start at the top or bottom depending on which direction the ABC is facing, and I would measure the structure. and then I'll be taking profit sometime around the 0.382, 0.5 region. But as I progressed and I kept seeing trades keep going in the right direction, I decided, especially when I started to listen to Trader Tom, that I would like to hold on to these trades and have a different method of working through the market. So the best case scenario would be, let's say we have a long position and I take a long from right here. Okay. So we get into that long position, and then the market starts going up and up and up and up. I know there's going to be tons of small trends within this trend, but we're looking at the bigger picture. Then the market comes back down, comes back up, and it forms a hedge position. So what the hedge position allows me to do is lock in the profit that my long is currently in. Okay. Now, where people get confused is when they think of hedge traders, they think that there's a single point in the market where I go both long and short at the same time, and I hold on to those trades. All right, that makes no sense because then you're not making money. All right. Here, I have made money, and then once the market shows me a point of weakness and it starts going down, at that point, I'm in a 1-to-1 ratio. Basically, the money that my short is making, my long is losing. So if I'm up $200 on my long, and then the short gets all the way back down to here, I'm up $200 on my short. Now, not quite, because I base my trades off of equity, not available balance. So I'll actually be up a little bit more on the short if everything went really well. The best thing that can happen is the market comes down, the market comes back up, the market comes back down. Now I have a long position right here. So this would be a new point of strength in the market. And if this uptrend is going to continue, then this would be the point to do it from. So I can go ahead and get rid of this long and take profit on it right here. And then if the market's going to continue, I'll go ahead and take this long and let it rip. Now I'm shortening up my range. So as before, I was not making or losing money between these 2 points here. All right. Now it's just a shorter region. I'm not making or losing money from this point here. And then if the market continues up, I'm now making new money. If I get stopped out of this long, I'm making new money. As well as that, it is in your best interest to take profit on your trades from time to time, because if I opened up a long down here with $1,000, and then when this trade setup forms, my account is now worth $1,200. Instead of using $10 worth of risk, I can use $12. That means every tick of an R&R would now be worth 12 instead of 1. I'll be making 20% more profit going to the upside now if I had the chance to take profit. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. All right. And this has been a long time since we had the ability to do this. The market's been quite ass. All right. But right here, we have the short position. And of course, if we come back up, I'll be in a long position from here. Like I said, we have that hedge that makes sure that we're not losing or getting money from here. We're simply maintaining profit. But you can see down here on the 1 hour time frame, we were going down. Now we're going back up, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. So if we go ahead and put in a higher high here, this would be a new position for a short. So as soon as we put in that higher high, I can take profit on this original one. And if the market comes back down, I'll re-enter short from here. But I'll be holding the long position as well. Just compounding my way through it. Now, obviously, there's no perfect way to do it. I think the one thing that happened and what kind of changed my mind is when we were up at these regions, Bitcoin and Ethereum had so much market cap that it was very hard. It's not like we didn't see massive movements, But on like the day-to-day basis, especially when we were playing those small points of strength and weakness, it was much harder to move price action. So therefore, we didn't see us getting stopped out as much with that 1% stop loss. But as we're getting back down into these regions where it's incredibly easy to move price action comparatively, I think a larger stop loss is necessary. That's the one thing that's been going through my head lately. So I do think that a 3% stop loss is worth trying for a little bit for me personally. And we'll see how it works out. Maybe I go down to a 2%. I don't think I'll go much larger than a 3%, but we can see. DYDX. Don't know anything about the coin. In terms of structure, this could be a possible retest, a place for a short. There really wasn't much in terms of longing position. Obviously, on the downtrend here, you had this, but obviously that kind of got rocked. Unless you had a very large stop loss, you would have been burnt many times over. On the macro here, nah, there's really nothing for me to talk about. But this is the most recent structure coming up here. Soul. So it's still kind of up in the air whether or not Soul is going to be permanently damaged from this. I don't necessarily think, I don't think Soul themselves is at fault. Because apparently FTX, like some of their collateral, or a lot of their collateral, was Soul. So this sell-off I don't necessarily think should reflect Soul themselves, but it might have ruined their reputation. So on the macro scale here, we can go ahead and trace up, look at some of our possible supports. So like we're kind of touching one right now. Like this little pocket region right here looked like a place where price action was retesting a lot. So obviously we're kind of in that region. The strongest support we had is the one that we were kind of using. So obviously price action in this region here. But doesn't look like that doesn't look too bad actually. Right here. It doesn't look terrible. Like if we were to go back down, obviously we have the macro price action kind of lining up with this region. This could be a possible place for people to rebuy into Soul. It wouldn't be too shabby. I don't know if I'll be playing on a leverage, but pretty nice. Just how everything's lining up together. Swisha J, what it do? What's going on? Good morning, good morning. I'm starting to wake up a little bit more. When I first started the live stream, I was definitely still getting out of my coffin. How about JUP USD? There's nothing I can do with that. I'm sorry, man. That chart is awful. Like I said, I'm just speaking about the chart because that's what I trade off of. There's nothing I can really do with that. If you guys aren't up to date, CoffeeZilla posted like a bunch of videos last night and the day before on the whole FTX situation. It got so much worse. Sorry, bankrupt. This one, he's basically calling out all the influencers that basically collaborated with FTX, which obviously I do think there's a level of due diligence for influencers to make sure they're, but on paper, FTX was trustable. So I really don't blame some of these influencers for partnering with FTX. But at the same time, like let's say I took an FTX partnership, I still would be saying the same shit I say about Bybit that I've been saying about Bybit. It's all about practicing self due diligence, making sure you don't keep your entire stack on a portfolio, blah, blah, blah. But if these influencers basically just like said like, hey, like I'm sure none of them really talked about that angle. It's very possible to put a temporary bottom around 13K to 14K and rally to 29 to 32K or even higher. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Like I said, I work in sequential order, so right now our support is 16,300. If we break 16,300, we would be looking towards 10K. It's conceivable that we would bottom somewhere around 13 to 14K. But obviously, I have to start working backwards with that. All right, I'll start talking about sequential resistances. And obviously, like if we're looking at the macro time frame here, the major resistances would be 24, 25K, and then 47K, and then 69K. And if we looked at some of the lesser resistances, mark those out like in yellow. It would be 32 and then probably 52. So these are our resistances. And now let's start talking about if this one breaks, then this one. If this one breaks, then this one. Obviously, this would be the best one here if we broke this resistance. There's not much else until we get to this. Thoughts on day traders, 3-minute time frame, in and out trades? I think it requires an extreme level of discipline. I would assume you'd be using some sort of momentum-based indicator. And the whole thing is like you're chipping, right? So the problem is like most people that trade, they want to make a lot of money. I think the best way to make money is through long-term compounding and smart trades at decent levels, not just going based off of daily momentum. I have no doubt that you can make money with day trading. The only problem is that most people, they overdo it. So say like back in the day, I had the MACD strategy where I used like the 15-minute time frame. Whenever it crossed to the downside, I would take a trade with a set stop loss. And then if I hit 1-2% profit, I would immediately take the profit, doesn't matter what. And then I would wait for the next cross. All right. So you would have to come up with some sort of strategy that has a high win rate, and you would have to just be consistent with it over and over and over and again. I think that's very, very tough for people. And then combine that with leverage, they're trying to make $1,000 off a $1,000 portfolio in a single day. They're going to get wrecked. But I do think that if you do it correctly with like small risk, maybe 0.5%, and you're just taking consistent trades with momentum, you possibly could do it. But once again, it's the faster paced your trades are, the less time you have to think, which usually the less time you have to think, the more you're going with, I forgot what the biology term for it is, but you put your hand on a hot stove, there is no time to think. Your body reacts. So apply that metaphor to trading, all right? If the market's moving so quick and you have no time to react, your fear and greed system is going to take control and act for you. With the longer term time frame trades, you have time to kind of contemplate what might be the best decision, just being patient, waiting. There's a lot less stress to that, which can lead to higher profit in the long term. Like I said, I mean, if you never experimented with long-term trading, it can be more painful, all right? But that's just because you haven't done it. I mean, the same thing goes for day trading as well, but I do think it's easier to lose money with day trading. With this, it's more like you're in a trade, you're in a profit, trying to fight that urge to take profit. That's one of the main issues. Or you get stopped out a couple times. How do you react? Are you adjusting your portfolio to your new portfolio size? Or are you using your previous predetermined risk instead of your new one? Stuff like that can get you into trouble. What's my thoughts on Ethereum? I like Ethereum. I think it's a good base platform for a lot of other stuff to be built off of. I don't agree with them going proof of stake, but I don't think that's going to completely ruin them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think Ethereum is here to stay. I'm not an Ethereum hater where I'm just going to go, oh, they suck. I think it accompanies the crypto market well. Obviously, do I agree with like poop NFTs? Like, oh, is it procedurally generated artwork? But no, I don't. I don't. But we're in the infancy stage of a lot of these technologies, and they're typically just going to be used for like, stupid stuff. But I do think eventually it would become a lot better. Is it possible for traders to become billionaires? George Soros, dude. Man was like the biggest trader in the world. He shorted an entire country into oblivion. You can make a lot of money with trading, but I do think it's like as you get further and further, it's more about diversification. Like, because I've made mistakes before, and it's easy to lose that. But obviously, like as you trade and you get to a certain point, you can start investing in other businesses. And that's a trade in itself, but it becomes a lot larger overarching ideal rather than just I'm sitting in a chart. Just starting out with a few hundred, do you recommend learning day trading or longer term time frame? Longer term time frame. Because if you want to be a good day trader, you have to kind of work backwards. All right, people think that you want to start with a small amount of money on day trading. No, you want to start with a large amount of money. Okay, but it needs to be a large amount of money in terms of percentage to the totality. All right, if you have $100,000 and you can use, 0.25% risk, which is $250 on a day trading, then yeah, like you might be able to make a couple thousand every other day and feel fine about it. But if you start with $100 and you go try to start day trading and you use 0.25% risk, which is 2.5 cents, you're going to go, why am I even doing this? I'm not making any money. There's no difference between the two. The person that had $100,000 and you that have $100. You're making the same trades. You're making the same percentages. But one person is upset. The other person's chugging along. So with the larger term time frames, you're not going to make money as quickly, but you're going to lose less money eventually. And I think that's a better habit to build over a long period of time. That way, you can build your account up, and then eventually, you might get to a point where you have $100,000. You can take a small amount and put it, small amount relatively, to the larger stack. and put it towards day trading if you want to go ahead and go down that route. But I think as you start trading the longer term time frames more and more, I think you've kind of fallen in love with it. It's less stressful. You have more time to go do other things. You don't have to sit at your chart all day. Of course, it's slow, but that's the whole point. How long did it take you before you started to get profitable on your trading journey? So, until I really started to understand like how to maintain profit, I started really trading around here. All right. I made a lot of money going up. I lost a lot of money going down. All right. Over here, I started to get a better grasp, but unfortunately, I hadn't learned how to like really hedge my bets and make sure like everything was okay. I lost a lot. I bought back right here. This is when I started to like challenge portfolios, and this is when I actually started to really get a good grasp. Was when I started to build stuff from scratch. I started to come up with more like R&R based strategies rather than, because like over here, I was so concerned about predicting what was price action going to do, when was it going to do it. I have market cipher, I have gone fans, I know that it's going to stop here, I know it's going to go there. Like that was my whole mentality throughout that entire process. Once I got over here, that's when I started to really play with support and resistance, more of an R&R type style. Not really trying to predict where price action was going to go, but using simple factors to give me a slight edge on the trades I was taking and then running with them. All right. I was still like taking profit at certain points, and then obviously I had the $100 to $100,000 account, which was just pure breakout trades past 20K. I took a trade here, up to here, took a trade here, up to here, up to here, up to here, and pretty much only in a couple trades I was already up that much money. But I would say like if this was when I started to get good, right around this region. And I put everything I had learned and everything that I needed to unlearn into this, and it allowed me to make the most of it. And then we started to experiment more with Elliott Wave, which once again, Elliott Wave still was in kind of like the realm of predicting. But as I started to pay attention more and more, I realized it's not about predicting, about just simple edge. And then down here is when I started to really get into ABCs and started to apply them. And we started rocking and rolling. It took me a long time because I'm the type of person where like, I'm skeptical, right? Of course, I listen to people like Crown Crypto. I watched Filicone for a bit. But like, I wasn't going and like taking people's courses and like all this stuff. I was just theorizing and learning for myself and using tools that I had found and just trying stuff out. Like just basically fat fingering my entire trading career. Just trying to figure out what works. And eventually it all caught up and it started ending up to be a good thing. Now I've still made mistakes like recently. Like I said, like I should have held on to this short. If I would have traded the way that I'm looking to do from this point on now over here, I would have definitely been in a better position for the challenge portfolio. But I was trying to go too fast. Right here was when I proved to myself that I can hold on to trades, that it will all be fine. All right. I held through this price action, made a lot of money, but then dopamine rushed into my brain and I missed a very, very simple and easy setup here that went down. So it's a lot of trial and error. But that's what happens. Like if you're in the market long enough, you realize a lot of the stuff that people talk about, it's just ignorant. Like I've learned stop losses are necessary for like what I do. Like I said, if you're spot trading, DCAing, looking at supports and resistances, yeah, right, you might not need stop losses because that's the whole point of DCAing. But for traders like us, stop losses are a necessity. And if you don't think they are, you're going to learn that very quick. Thoughts on buying Solana right now? We checked that out earlier. I don't think like right now would be necessarily the best point, but if we look at the macro here, $11 and 50-ish cents was a macro support here. Like if we're looking at some of the times where price retested the downside during this massive uptrend here. So if we go down to a smaller time frame over here, we can see that we're building kind of an ABC pattern. So I think if we have one more retest to the downside, I think that might be a good pickup point. You can see right here, uptrend, downtrend, or downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. Me and Ryan might be getting a live stream together soon. I've been hopping in his live stream every so often, saying hi. He's invited me on a couple times, but I don't want to just jump on there and like steal the show. So I'd rather have something for us to talk about, planned out, that kind of stuff. That way it's just us, going back and forth. I would really say like when my trading career turned around was when I put together the formula for leverage. And I'm pretty sure like that was like right around this region. I think it might be this pattern over here, but there was an acid trip somewhere over here. And that's when my brain smushed all the math together. Who created the R&R calculator for you? I'm gonna be honest, I forgot the name, but I appreciate that man very, very much. Like he didn't even. I wish he would have like put, I don't know, like a donate link to himself. I mean, he made it just. That's the whole thing. I kind of love what I built in terms of. I put good into the community. Community helps me out when I need it. So they made this website using the formula that I put together. I think at one point he might have had like a buy me a coffee button somewhere, but no, don't say that. You said boys talking English. Just no, don't do that. We welcome everybody around here. Don't you actually go against the trend when using ABCs? Yes, to a certain extent. So, obviously, if we're in a downtrend, if the market's moving down, that shows that the market has really no reason to stop. And then once we see the market move to the upside, we go, okay. At this point right here, this is where people were willing to step in and buy. So then, of course, the market might want to come back down and retest to make sure that that's true. And then if we see it pop back up, that tells us, okay, all right, this is a strong point to buy because it tried to push through it, but then it got back above it. All right, so that's why I'm able to take longs in a downtrend. But it's not just like we're in a downtrend, I just take a long, and I'm trying to catch a falling knife. I'm watching price action and waiting for it to show me where it has signs of support rather than predicting, guessing, all right? Once again, that's the whole thing that got me into trouble before. But like right now, all right, I took a short from an ABC top, and then we have another ABC possibly that will be formed. I took a short from here. I'll take profit on that one. Enter this one. I'm working with the trend. All right. If we look at the past price action over the past couple of months / a year, all right, ABCs can be used to work with the trend. So right here, this was the very top of the market. ABC. All right, you can take a short from there. You're patient. You wait for price action to continue. All right. Right here, we have uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. You can see we didn't have any signs of support there. All right. We started to get some right here. You can see we had price action stop here, go up into an uptrend. We came back down. We tried to push through it. We started to get a bounce. We were showing signs of support, but then we fell through. Right. So if you would have held on to this short position, of course, you still would have been good. So you're working with the trend. Like I said, I'm kind of speaking out my ass here because I did not play it that way. But that's the whole point of an if this and that statement strategy. I can back test it, and if I would have had the same mentality, I could have played it the same way. All right. With indicators and stuff, you can't really say you would have done something. With this, it's based off of price action. Price action does not change. Okay. So right here, price action's going down, down, down. It stops right here. We go uptrend, go downtrend, we go uptrend. We formed a new ABC. You could have taken profit on this one, entered this one. Now with this one right here, like I said, I usually take profit around 40% now. You wouldn't have quite hit that, so you probably wouldn't have taken profit. But you go ahead and transfer that over. You hold it down. All right, price goes and shows you that it can bounce right here. It goes into an uptrend. It goes into a downtrend. It goes into an uptrend. You can short right here. You can take profit on this one, enter this one, and you probably still would be holding this one too. You might have tried to take this one right here. All right, this was definitely choppy. You would have gotten stopped out a good couple times on it coming up because you formed so many ABCs within this. But could have taken profit, entered this one, so on and so on and so on. So that's how ABCs can be used to work with the trend right here. All right. We had downtrend, we had uptrend, we had downtrend. All right, you enter long right here. Downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. You can see right here, we didn't get any position to get out of this long, so I probably would have held on to it. But you had the ability to take this hedge trade right here. Kite, how do you breakout trade? I wouldn't recommend breakout trading unless we're like breaking an all-time high. All right. The reason being is when you have no price discovery, or when you are in price discovery, meaning there is no related price action, there's nothing to like really stop price action and cause retests. Like over here, all right, you could go ahead and go, okay, we have a resistance here at 19,956. All right, we broke out. You go ahead, you take your long from here. And once again, it's always about, this is when like I first experimented with letting my winners run until they no longer could. Okay. This is when I first experimented with that, and I saw how much it could do for my portfolio. But then obviously I kind of like switched up the strategy, and I put that on the back burner, and now I'm applying that now. So once again, like over time, you'll find out what works and what doesn't, and then you accumulate that all into a basic strategy that you can apply. So right here, I took my breakout trade and I let price action go up. I don't have a predetermined take profit. That is the main thing. All right, that's how this breakout strategy related to my old one, or to my new one. So you can see as we're going up, price action had a little bit of a retracement right here. All right, so that shows me that this point right here is a possible place of weakness. So when price action returned up to it, I took profit on this long, and then that would be my new breakout point. And then I would go ahead and I would set up a new breakout trade. And you can see price went up. It had a little bit of a retracement. That shows me that right here is where price action is willing to get a little bit weak. So then I took another trade from here. And right here, this is where like I started practicing with if this and that statements. I got stopped out of this trade. I re-entered it. Price went back up. I took profit there. I took another breakout trade there. So on and so on. Now, I did get stopped out a couple times over here and I just stopped playing like that. And then I started to look a little bit more Elliott wave, trying to figure out where the tops might be. That's when I took... at this time, I was still using kind of like a basic strategy in terms of support and resistance, but it was still R&R based. So the way that I looked at it was I kind of was looking for bottom. So right here was where price was strong. All right, so anytime that we would come down to this line, I would take a long and I would treat it like an if this and that statement. Right here, same thing. Price went down. Now I wasn't really looking at it like ABCs per se, but I was starting to play it more like support and resistance. I was definitely taking smaller time frame trades once I got up to this point, which I definitely, looking back on it, I probably should have played larger time frames. But you live and you learn. That's the whole point. But like I said, breakout trades are awesome. Like I said, they are really, really good if you let them run and you wait for price action to show you where to take profit. But there is a certain period of time where you would like to do that. Right now, I don't think is necessarily the best period. Let's say, like, if you were trying to trade breakout trades over here, you would have gotten stomped. I got stomped on ABCs with this. All right, now, if I was taking profit at the 0.441, I could have taken profit on that trade. I could have taken profit on that trade. I probably would have started to lose profit on this trade and this trade, but eventually it would have hit. So that's the whole purpose. Like, we've talked about how no matter what strategy you're playing, there will be times where it sucks. Just because the market's not doing what you need it to do. But looking in the past, ABCs are very prevalent in every single market because it's just basic psychology. Overzealous nature. Essentially, they're just double tops and double bottoms. And we're using those to our advantage. I've used Market Cipher B in the past. I as well. Have you ever tried to combine ABCs and Market Cipher B for confluence? No, because it would be the same exact thing as applying like divergences to ABCs. It's like right here. All right. We had an uptrend, a downtrend, an uptrend. So a very clear and concise ABC. If I go to my RSI and I kind of tighten it up by using a 125. All right, you can see RSI had no divergence. All right, we had a higher high and a higher high. So if I would let Market Cipher B or RSI influence how I took my trades instead of just pure price action, that could have influenced whether or not I held on to this trade for as long as I did. Which I'm glad I didn't. I held on to it throughout the entire process. Hey Kite, any tips on how to spot ABCs better and accurately? Sometimes I get overwhelmed and see too many ABCs at once. It's hard to know which one to pay attention to. So, first and foremost, stay on a higher time frame. 1 hour, 2 hour, stay zoomed out. Okay? So, if I'm on the 1 hour to 2 hour here, of course, this period of time, very choppy. Anybody would get messed up with that. But you can see there's a large downtrend coming from this direction. And this is our, up until recently, that was our lowest low. Okay? So you always want to kind of plan ahead. Why is my shift key? Oh, is my keyboard dead? Keyboard's dead. Give me one moment. Up until recently, that was our lowest low. So you should always have this in the back of your head, all right, that could become a possibility, and then start working throughout that. So just in case that we weren't going to see a lower low, all right, so obviously this is our largest swings in terms of change of trend. So you start from here. You go, okay, I have a downtrend, I have an uptrend, and I have a downtrend. All right, so if we're not going to see a lower low than this, then possibly this could have been our bottom. And it was looking like it until FTX done and screwed it up. So you start, this would be your ultimate long position, and you start tracing from whatever the low of that is. So right here, we had uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. This possibly could have turned into an ABC a lot sooner, but we instead continued to the upside. So that all combines together, and that became a singular ABC. So this is all you really had to worry about. I did take a hedge position right here because at the time, this was our lowest low. So right here, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. I started tracing from here. So we had uptrend, downtrend. We started breaking recent lows, uptrend. So I did take a hedge position from here as well. So at this current moment in time, just start tracing. So obviously we have completed the macro here. Downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. And now that I shouldn't say we, because you can determine how you play these. But for me personally, now that I'm not worried about taking profit at the 0.441, I don't need to know exactly where this started from. It could be here, it could be all the way at the top, who knows. But I know for above this level, I want to be long. All right. So now you can start tracing from our absolute low. Always start from your most recent high or most recent low. All right. So just kind of pre-plan ahead. You can see we have an uptrend, we have a downtrend, and we're looking for an uptrend. I'm staying on a higher time frame here. So yes, if we go down to a lower time frame, you could see that there was a downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, ABC. You can see that was being used as kind of like a resistance / support for a long time, but eventually failed. But if you stay on the higher time frames, you're going to weed out a lot of that noise. I was trying to do breakout trades on BTC all-time high, then short that time. I think a lot of us were. Do you think auto Elliott waves and ABC indicator works? It's an official indicator from TradingView. It can help you to a certain extent, but you should be able to spot the ABCs yourself. Like if you're not used to spotting ABCs, you need to practice. Go back in previous price action and look for them. All right, very basic rules. All right. This is what a uptrend ABC looks like that you're looking for shorts. This is what a downtrend one looks like. So your B wave cannot go below or above the start of your A, and the C wave always has to be past this. Now, like I said, I mean, there is some points in time where, like down here, this was, the $3,000 level. We had an uptrend, and then we did not get a lower low. All right, but you can see two possible ABCs. You had this one right here, and you had this one right here. You would have been chopped up, most definitely. But that was your indicator to go ahead and jump into the market. And the top of this market, there wasn't like any really good ABCs in terms of like this right here, but there was definitely a lot of long ABCs. But you had an opportunity to take a short here, which you can see would have been stopped out like, once from this rule retest over here. And I'm sure you would have been stopped out maybe a couple times over here. And you had this ABC here, which you can see was used as resistance. And I really didn't have much over here. But you had a long ABC here. You had a long ABC here. No, I don't use RSI anymore like that. Andy, what's going on? We're still cooking in our short trades. Ethereum and the BTC long aren't doing quite well, but we got stop losses on them. We are going to see any more major downside. What's your top 5 coins to trade with ABC? To be frank, I made most of my profits shorting ABCs on Doge. Damn. It would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, even though I haven't touched it recently. Let's actually check up on Litecoin real quick. And then like top 5, I would say XRP would be next. I've had some considerable luck on XRP. My 4th one, I wouldn't say it's a coin. I would say AMD. But yeah, Litecoin did very, very well with this short. But it would have to come down and put in a lower low over here, or we would have to have some sort of ABC here in order for me to jump in to a long. Please go to indicators and type Elliott waves. The first one indicator, please have. Look, I'm keen. I used this when it first came out. And look, it's showing us the same thing here. Now, obviously, this looks fine and dandy, in past tense, but it would have been drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s all the way throughout this. But look, it's showing us the same ABC that we drew without Elliott wave. Is it gonna give us? Yeah, it's making a mess of all this stuff, but you can see it kind of gave us the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the ABC that we took as a short. It struggles a little bit. It does do a decent job, but if you want to be able to catch anything substantial, you're gonna have to search for yourself. Oh shoot, I gotta switch up the song real quick because there we go. It was saying that we've detected copyright. Thank you for introducing us to Johnny Crypto's YouTube channel. He's fun and genuine like you. Johnny's my dude, man. We talk on Discord pretty much every other day. Like I said, John, if you guys can't get enough of ABCs, let's say I'm taking a break or something like that, I'm sure Johnny will be live streaming. So if you guys want to, go subscribe to Johnny Crypto. This one right here, the one with the little astronaut. And he's been a student of mine for a very long period of time. I want to call him a student anymore because he's learned what I have to offer and he's applying it quite well. And as always, like, if you can help other people out, do it. So he's putting effort into his YouTube channel. He goes live. pretty much, every other day. So go check them out. Walker, what's going on? Happy late B-Day. Also, Michael wants to do something at the end of the month if you're down. Coming up from Florida. For sure. Yeah, because I missed him last time. So I was out in Tennessee. What happened to Access? Oh, it took off to the moon. But right back down, it seems. Could have been, it looks like to me, that looks like built up shorts. It looks like a lot of people were trying to short this altcoin for whatever reason. And then someone stepped in and liquidated all of them. And it caused a short squeeze. But all right, guys. Let's see. How long have we been streaming? Been streaming for 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Get start with your day or have a good night. I'm gonna go finish up God of War. I don't know how far along I am, but I'm trying to savor it. So like I'm trying not to rush through it. So like every maybe hour or so I'll take a break. But I think I'm almost done. But remember, guys, I'm going to put out a separate video, making sure that anybody that can't watch a full live stream sees this. But if you have been in my group for a long time, part of the lifetime deal, message me so I can get a whitelist going of anybody that wants to stay in the group. Also, I'm going to be setting up the Patreon bot, so it will be kicking people that aren't signed up on the Patreon. As well as that, if you guys want a one-on-one session, I've changed it. So like in the past, I charged $500, and that was including the lifetime membership thing. So I kind of, thought about it over the past couple of days, whether or not, so I've had a lot of people reach out to me. And I keep having to turn them down because I don't have anything official. But instead of doing like $300 for 4 sessions, I'm going to leave it up to the individual whether or not they want to continue doing sessions. So it's $55, be about an hour of a one-on-one session. That way, if you need help with setting up your personal portfolio, like what you want to see, or if you need help understanding how to actually trade ABCs, that's what that's there for. So, like I said, as always, there's plenty on my YouTube if you don't want to go that route. But that is an option for you guys. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I probably won't get on as early tomorrow because I definitely made a mistake with that. I was like so tired when I got on here. Felt like a zombie. But I'll probably be on sometime around like 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern Standard Time. But all right, guys. I was watching Johnny's live stream. He mentioned you. He knows his life to you. He doesn't know his life to me. He rephrased, sorry, he won't take bullets for you. Oh, that sucks. There goes my Johnny Meat shield. But all right, guys, let's do the thing. Log off for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? I've been getting better sleep, but I feel like the bags under my eyes are getting worse. Bye!